Hey everybody, Baldoric here. Today we are going to be talking about Azura, and we're going to talk about, well, she just got her Resplendent skin for one, and we want to talk about some ways to build her and use her on different teams for different modes. And because anyone with the FEH Pass is getting a free version of her, I thought this would be a great time to bring up this unit. We all just got a copy of her if you have the FEH Pass, so you might be wondering, how do I use this unit? Maybe, is it worth merging? Or I already have this unit, is it worth merging, or like whatever. So let's go over some of the builds that I came up with her today and talk about why I think they work and for what modes. So first is my Aether Raids build. So this build is specifically geared towards light season. I wanted to have the ear and peony buffs. So that's the plus to speed and the plus to resistance. So it makes it so that her speed is already up to a 51 with the speed IV, and her res is 41. Really great for those two stats. It's going to make it so that she is actually pretty decent at taking some tome users. Definitely going to be doubling on a lot of units, and 53 attack isn't fantastic, but with Moonbow and Harmonic Lance, which adds plus 10 damage when special triggers, it actually ends up being pretty good. So pretty decent there. Swift Sparrow in her A slot, just to make sure that if she does have to go in and attack, you know, she's going to have that 55 speed, excuse me, and the 57 attack, which is even better. And then with Moonbow Harmonic Lance, even more damage if your Moonbow is proccing. So I think that actually combos really well for something like this. Now, obviously she's a dancer, so one of the big things I wanted to make sure is that she can kind of do more than one thing here. So you want to make sure she can utilize that dance. Wings of Mercy is usually a pretty good staple to have on any dancer. The reason being, if you have a sweeper that goes in, does some damage, whatever, maybe they hit the bolt trap, maybe they just take damage from whoever it is they're attacking, you can then Wings of Mercy in and either A, get them out, or B, keep attacking, keep going. And on light season, you obviously have Peony to follow up with this. You can do that 2 times. So you can have Sweeper, Peony, Azura, and then that's either 3 consecutive attacks or 2 attacks and 1 way out, something like that, right? So it gives you some options, it gives you a lot of utility by adding in that Wings of Mercy, and I think that makes it really powerful for attack and defense. So if you switch the light season with dark season, it works just the same. You can have, obviously the stats will be different, but she will be a fantastic unit to have on defense for the same reasons. Decent bulk, not fantastic defense, but decent res. Wings of Mercy works great on teams that are built around having Wings of Mercy. You'd have to come up with, like, you have to really strategize to make that work, but it does work when it does. Now, on either light or dark season, defense and res tactic are only effective if your team is built around tactics. So you have to be mindful of movement types, right? You can't have... And I mean, unless you don't care, like you only want certain units to have those buffs, so like if you only care for your sweeper to have the buffs, that's fine. But if you want your whole team to benefit from tactics, you've got to make sure that they're matching that movement types. If you don't want to worry about that, you can obviously just switch defense and res tactic with either like drive defense, drive res, or whatever other support things are beneficial for your team. Just keep in mind what you want to do for your team to make that work. You could have her have Infantry Pulse as well. 59 HP is honestly really good. And if you wanted it to be even higher, you could give her an S slot of like an HP 5, an A slot of HP 5, and then she's going to be higher than everyone on your team, most likely. So depending on how you want to build her, you could do a couple things like that. That's getting more into a like support build where this is more of a utility and support. So keep that in mind when building her. So that's my Aether Raids one. The next one is more geared towards arenas and arena assaults. So this is more of a bulky support build. Let's just go down the line of what I chose. Slaying Lance. The biggest reason I chose Slaying Lance is because in arenas, most teams have at least 1 armor type on them. The reason is score. Most armor score better than most units, so people put at least 1 armor type on their team to make sure they're maximizing their score. Slaying Lance is really effective against, excuse me, if she takes those attacks from armor units or if she's attacking them, she actually will do a little bit more damage. It might even pick up a kill or two, which is fantastic. People do use Black Knight a good deal because he's a Grail unit and pretty easy to merge up. So Slaying Lance is a really great way to just straight up counter him, no problem. So we have the 47 speed, which is really respectable. She will double on a lot of the units and definitely all of the armor types except for like a handful of them. So that's really fantastic. We chose Moonbow again because you want to make sure she's doing as much damage as possible towards those armored foes. So decreasing those, like that defense stat with the Moonbow is fantastic. Fortified Defense Res is to make sure that she has a little bit more tankiness. You want to make sure she can live. She needs to survive if she gets attacked. Now, all of us have made mistakes in arenas where we didn't plan for that dancer or forgot about the armor march or something like that. Like something happens and you're like, oh crap, they're going to attack my dancer. By having that extra defense, that extra res, it gives her that survivability, or maybe it's just she goes in and attacks and just has that extra bulk to survive whoever she's attacking. It honestly helps in the long run. I think it's a great thing to have on her. Null follow-up 3, especially if she is going against armors with guaranteed follow-up skills, nullifies that and makes it so that she can go through double and not have to worry about any retaliation. Attack tactic, again, is great on the teams that you build around it. If you can't do a tactic, just swap it out for like a drive attack or whatever other support skill you think your team needs. Pick Riposte, I chose this in case she does get attacked, but this is very easily replaced with whatever you think is good for her utility. I think it's great to give her that kind of mixed phase ability. You know, she can double on your turn and then definitely double on the opponent's turn kind of deal. Useful. Just make sure that is definitely what you want. You could easily switch this with a support skill, either a different tactic, a drive, whatever you want it to be. Just gives her that extra versatility that you may want, you may not. Up to you. Alright, so this is the arena build. Now, we have to talk about the budget build. Now, I probably should have just done the neutral one here, but I chose to go with what the favorable IVs, in my opinion, are for a no-merge Azura. So plus attack with no merges, I think is actually the best way to do it, not the plus speed. Because you could use things like Desperation, Quick Riposte to make up for that, to maximize her damage. Still want to use Moonbow, for the same reasons I've been saying. Casablanca is an interesting one. Not necessarily needed here, you could do something else. But the reason I chose Casablanca is because she has that dull ranged effect. And without merges, she does have that great 33 res stat that with the added benefit of Casablanca is going to make it so that most mage users that attack her aren't going to be able to kill her unless they're just naturally very strong. I think this gives her an extra layer of survivability that she really will need, especially if she does get attacked. If you don't want to use that, you could obviously choose something like a, whatever it is that decreases your special cooldown by 1. Slaying Lance, is that what it is? I think that's what I already chose for armor types. Whatever it is, you could use that instead. You could use her default one. I don't really recommend her default one. I think her default lance, Sapphire Lance, is not really worth it. There are other utility ones you could use, but I think Casablanca is pretty solid for this. Berkut's Lance is actually really good for her for that extra res, so you could do that one as well. Fury 3 is there because it is just this kind of a staple for most budget builds. It just gives free 3 stats to all stats but HP. And the HP stat that you lose actually works great for her because it ties into Desperation. So it makes sure that after that one attack she gets, and she'll probably double anyways, but if she doesn't, Desperation's going to happen after the next attack because of the Fury 3, and she will get to double. Obviously, your priority with her is probably mostly just dance, but if it comes down to it and she is going to be an attacker for one reason or another, it can definitely work out. Now, I put drive attack on her instead of a tactic because I think it's a little bit easier to obtain. I don't remember if attack tactic is grailable, but a drive attack is. There are 2 units. There's the Groom Marth, and one of the flying lance users has that. I forget her name though. It's like the one that thinks she's a superhero. Whatever her name is. So it's pretty easy to get drive attack. So But anyways, that's my budget build, and I think that pretty much covers my builds for Azure today, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I'm going to be dropping more videos like this for each Resplendent unit that comes out. I typically do weapon refines. I'm going to start doing some mythic heroes when they come out, or legendary heroes as they come out. And if you have any other suggestions for videos, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to know if there's anything else I can do that you want to see. Or do you have a build that you want me to know about? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you next time.